in the month that we see an explosive top here on Bitcoin? Are we going to break through and see some of those $90,000, $100,000 price targets come to fruition? Or will it be the month that we get rejected and sent back down to some realistic price targets down at 45,000? This is a crucial month. I'm going to analyze the historical price performance we've seen in June, plus what I expect to happen here on here out. Now, you can see it has been a frustrating couple of months here on Bitcoin. Now, of course, some of that is a bit irrational. We're still sat here at 68,000 on Bitcoin, holding relative strength. But when you look at the journey that we've been on, a really powerful March, followed by a dump of an April, and then recovering that in May, you can see now why many investors, many participants in crypto are getting a little bit frustrated by this consolidation. And so the question now is, are we going to get one of these dumps? Are we going to get one of these dumps that we got from 64,000? Are we going to get one of these dumps that we saw from 69,000 in the final stages of 2021? Or is this a consolidation that is getting set for a journey up towards 90,000 and 100,000? I'm going to break that down and a lot more. Don't forget to smash the likes. Don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to trade with me actively on altcoins, ijazcrypto.com/TG. We just hit another take profit target this morning here on a Sunday, breaking in spot profits with risk managed altcoin trades. If you want to learn how to trade, first link in the description is where you're going to do that. Now, let's jump on over to this Bitcoin monthly returns chart. And what I wanted to highlight here was, how is Bitcoin doing versus other years? I mean, of course, we can compare to halving years as well, but let's just focus on the average month of each year, right? If you take a look at January, Bitcoin came out of the block really slow, right? We were waiting for the Bitcoin spot ETF. We got it. It was a bit of an anticlimax. And in the end, we were flat on January. Now, typically, it's not a big performing January. Bitcoin doesn't tend to have a crazy performing January, and the average return is normally 3%. So we were about on track. Then February came about, and Bitcoin typically does 15.6% returns in February, and we came out of the block doing 43%. Right? And people are still complaining. 43% here on Bitcoin. Where are you getting that in another asset class? And I think this is some of the irrationality. Like, of course, in crypto, you have a bunch of people that want to get rich from a couple of dollars. And of course, they need crazy 1000x returns and they're searching for those. But for the average person who's able to accumulate a little bit of savings and build up a slow portfolio in DCA, 43% returns in a month is unlike anything you're going to see in the stock market, unlike anything you're going to see in foreign exchange, unlike anything you're going to see in commodities. Right? And I think ultimately that's why we're in crypto. Then we moved on to March. Hold up. Do you want to learn how to trade? Then you need to jump into our Telegram community. Link is in the description. In our Telegram community, I share my altcoins. I share how I do my trade setups, how I do my stop losses and take profit. So you could learn to become a profitable trader. Check it out. Link is in the description. And typically Bitcoin does 13% in March and we delivered 16%. Okay, 16% returns in March. And things were going really swimmingly. Right? Again, if we just jump back onto the Bitcoin chart, that was these months here. Jan, Feb, powerful month, March. And then came April, the month where we corrected around that 15% mark. We had a bit of a correction, and this is April here, right? A down around 15%. And typically, Bitcoin does well in April. Typically, you see Bitcoin doing about 12 to 13%. So we went about 25% the wrong way in terms of a swing here on April. Then came May, where we saw Bitcoin really start to fight back, right? You saw it kind of reclaw some of those losses we saw in April. We started to get the majority back, but not all of it, right? We had a big, powerful 11% month, not too shabby, and definitely still better than the average of around 8%, which we typically see in May. And now comes June. What do we typically see in June? Well, it's not going to be, the story you're looking for, really, because on average, in June, you see a flat month. Now, of course, there's been, certain periods here. If you go back to 2016, 27%. If you look at 2019, you can see here, 26% month. You can see an 11% month last year, roughly. So there are months where you've seen decent returns, but the average, you've even seen 2022 was a big dump, of course, in the summer period. That's exactly what I was referring to here. Right? You dumped in the summer here after Bitcoin hit 64,000. Down it went in May and June, right? It wasn't a fun period. Similarly here, down to the downside. So, when we look at it, it doesn't seem like June could be a powerful month. Does that rule it out? No, and I'm going to explain why it could be a powerful month and why it could be a very important month. Because if you switch it to the quarterly readings, this is where you start to see something a little bit more important. So typically in Q1, the average of the Q1 performances, which is January through to March, Bitcoin delivers 56% returns. And this year, it's outperformed 68%. If you invest in crypto from January to March, you delivered 68% just on Bitcoin, right? And then in Q2, you average at 27%, about half what you get in Q1, right? 27%, not too shabby. Bitcoin so far, right, in April and May is down 4.64%. So you've got about 30% to make up here on Bitcoin to hit the average. So there is a chance that June decides to tear people's faces off and recover some of these losses. Now, there's no guarantee for that. I mean, there's been plenty of quarters where Bitcoin's declined, like I just shared with you. 2021 was a great example. 2022 was a great example as we entered our bear market. But you have to remember, those were bear markets. This is where we're talking about a halving, right? A halving has happened, and we could expect an explosive June end to Q2. We've not had an explosive Q2 for a very long time. The last powerful Q2 we had was 4 years ago. See the coincidence? 4 years ago in 2020. Okay, and of course the year before that in 2019, due to the printing, the money printing during the pandemic effort, of course. And then, of course, you can date back here to 2017, which was the year after that previous halving as well. And then 2016, which was a halving year as well. Okay, so you can see that we're well due a powerful Q2. So it may be that June ends up saying, you know what, we've consolidated for a little bit. We're going to tear faces off. Because the reality, if you just look at this chart very kind of plainly, this is a very tough resistance level, right? Bitcoin has come to this level here, 64,000, got rejected. Came to 69,000, got rejected. Created an all-time high at 74,000, which is still near and near about this level, right? You could draw a nice little support line here, resistance line here, sorry. And the question is, can it just break through? We need to see a crazy monthly candle pushing through this level, like something like this, like a nice big monthly candle coming up to where my cursor is, breaking through, getting up towards 80,000, dare I say even 85,000 in a powerful, powerful, strong month. And that's going to then leave behind the fear that we can't break through this kind of 64 to 74 range. We'd be straight through it and we'd be on to bigger price targets here on Bitcoin. And we've seen that happen before, right? We've seen how Bitcoin, once it tore past these levels in the past, when it was, 14,000 here and the 20,000 level here, you saw these powerful candles. I mean, look at that candle here, a 47% month here on Bitcoin. You kind of need one of those to kind of push you through this level and say goodbye. Now, it wouldn't be fair if I just spoke about that and didn't speak about the negative scenario. What if that didn't happen? What if Bitcoin shows more weakness here in June? What if Bitcoin gets spooked by the macroeconomic data? What if Bitcoin gets spooked by the fact that markets are rotating risk off because they're worried we're not going to get interest rate cuts? These are fears which are valid, but so far we've not seen it. We've just come off a May in the traditional markets, which was winning. It was a strong winning month for the S&P, Dow Jones, and NASDAQ, right? Now, the question is going to be, how does data come out this week? This week on Friday, we get a very, very important non-farm payroll figure come out. That's a jobs figure. The market will be looking to that. If we can start delivering good CPI, inflation, and good jobs figures coming in June, this could be an explosive month. Because the reality is markets aren't overpricing in stuff anymore, right? That's why we got the correction. Because markets at one point were expecting 3 rate cuts this year. And actually, they thought some of it would happen by now. But we haven't had it. And the markets are even saying no, not even in the June meeting will we get one. Not even in the July meeting. This is a fair market. This market's being very, very fair. It's only until September where the majority of the market thinks we're going to get our first official rate cut by the Fed. And so unless that stance changes, this market can go on a run. Right? If we start seeing good data coming in, if we see evidence that, yes, we could be cutting rates, inflation is being tamed, we're seeing the jobs market start to show signs of weakness, that could allow markets to rally, and that could give us a nice, powerful June here. And that is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a strong June here to break structure, to clear through this area where we've been consolidating for a while. I mean, if I zoom down to the weekly chart, you'll see it even better. right? Last time we ran up to 64, we chilled for a bit, we came down. Then we went to 69, we came straight down. It's a blow off top. Boom, all the way down to 15,500 from 69,000. Now we run up to 74 and we're just hesitating here. But the difference here is when we're hesitating, you've seen a little bit of a bounce. Look at this. When we kind of fell here, we couldn't quite bounce back up. We came back down and we bounced. So that for me is showing a little bit of a strength. The way we came back from the CMA ribbon in the last kind of month or so in May was a nice bounce. But now you need to clear this level. No point sitting here celebrating. Like, go and show that you mean business here on Bitcoin. Don't just come here and just chill. Break through this level and go into price discovery. Come into this area of the chart where Bitcoin price is undefined and we have no resistance. We have no previous kind of expectations on price. And again, I can share with you the chart patterns of the various patterns that allow us to do that. Because if I bring out the lines here, you guys can see on the 4-hourly chart, on the daily chart even, this is the falling wedge pattern we're in. This pattern can definitely continue to work its way up towards 85, up towards 90 and 100. So for me, I'm locked in this market. My stance has not changed whatsoever. I'm not spooked out whatsoever. I don't see how this market can now spook us out. All it can do is stall. All it can do is delay. I don't see a set of circumstances outside of a big, World War III scenario that spooks this market that badly now. Yes, we may get bad weeks. Yes, you could even get a bad month. Yes, inflation could show itself a bit stubborn. But the reality is, whether it's September, October, November, at some point the Fed is going to cut their first rate cut. And then they're going to continue. And they're going to bring rates down from 5% to 4, to 3, to 2, and 1. And guess what happens when they're done doing that? And they'll cut quite quickly. They'll then still break the economy. And what do the Fed always do when they break the economy? Oh, let's turn on the money printer. And that's what I'm in it for, because when that money printer comes back, fiat currency is going to be debased a bit more. And that's where you're going to see crypto show its real, true worth. And you're going to see true funds start to roll in via now adopted routes such as the Bitcoin ETFs. Not through people jumping on to MetaMask and all this stuff. No. These institutions can throw big money when they're panicked now. When they start panicking about their fiat currency, they can go, hang on, there's an ETF over there. I can put a bunch of this money into Bitcoin. And they could do so with BlackRock. They could do so with Fidelity. They could do so with WisdomTree, the companies that they're used to in TradFi. So, all's looking good here in June. A big, big month. Let me know in the comments. June win or June lose? I want to see what you guys are feeling in the market. But of course, it has been quite a frustrating last couple of weeks. But look at the positives. Bitcoin still sat here at 68,000. It's created this floor. It's kind of spent a lot of time around this price to confirm that we don't want to go any lower. The bears will be trying. But Bitcoin price saying, we don't want to go any lower. We want to consolidate and we want to head higher. And I'm all in for that. If you appreciate this type of content on a Sunday, don't forget to smash up the likes. Don't forget to subscribe. If you want to actively trade with me, check out the links in the description to Bybit, to Mexi, but also jump into my private Telegram group. First link is in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.